Hello everyone, how's it going? Today I will be bringing you my Magicka Templar build for the Blackwood patch. I've been testing a lot of setups this past week and I've finally found something that I think will stick with me for the remainder of the patch. As always, when I make a build, I've tried to find something that I find entertaining to play. For me that means good damage, high mobility, good sustain without sacrificing too much defensively. This is a build intended for open world PvP, mainly 1vx, fighting outnumbered, maybe 2-3vx. If you're planning on running in a larger group, I'm sure there are builds out there that will suit you better than this one. That being said, this build is incredibly fun to play, so you might as well just give it a go anyways. Without further ado, let's hop into the build. Alright, let's start by taking a look at our stats. As you can see, we got about 29,000 maximum magicka and 29,000 maximum health with 22,000 max stam. Here's a picture of our stats fully buffed with continuous and all the buffs we can get on our own, including our weapon glyph enchantment. As you can see, we got just over 6k spell damage, 35% crit, 11k pen, with about 1800 mag recovery. On the back bar, the mag recovery goes a bit up, spell damage goes a bit down. We've got about 24,500 spell resist, 19,000 physical resist, with about 2k crit resist. Now, this isn't too much resistances, but we do have quite a bit of percentage based damage reduction on this build, so we are fine with it. We've got 51 points into magicka, 13 into health. Honestly, you can choose this however you want. If you want more health, take some points out of magicka, put them into health, or the other way around. We are running Sugar Skulls, the Atronach Mundus. We are a Vampire Stage 3 for the Undeath passive. And we are on a High Elf, which I still think is the best Magicka Templar class. Let's jump into the sets. The first set we have is Heartland Conquerors. This came with the Blackwood patch. It's craftable, gives a line of weapon and spell damage, line of magicka, line of stamina, and it basically doubles the weapon traits that you have on your weapons. Our backbar set is Olorim, magicka recovery, an extra line of magicka recovery on our backbar, and it gives us 430 spell damage. This has a 100% uptime, which is why I chose this set over something like Clever Alchemist, which gives more spell damage but has a downtime. This is also really easy to proc. Monster set, Zol the Ever Wakefuls, gives a line of stamina, and whenever we break free we stun everyone around us within 8 meters of us. This is really good for fighting outnumbered, really good if you're fighting multiple opponents on your own. It can really mess up somebody trying to get that stun and kill you. It's a real lifesaver. Try it out if you haven't already. For our backbar, we got the Olorim's Resto Staff, infused with a weapon and spell damage enchant, and here you see that Heartland Conqueror set shine. Instead of the normal 348 or whatever you get, a bit more if it's infused. Anyways, we now get 556 extra spell damage, and since it's infused, theoretically we can have a 100% uptime on this as well. On the front bar, we are running the Black Rose Dual Wield. For those of you who doesn't know what this does, whenever you deal damage with Blade Cloak, you gain 6% damage reduction and 6% increased damage stun. Really good. We are always standing on top of our opponents when we want to damage them. This set just fits really well into the Magplar playstyle. For the traits, I've gone Sharpened on the front bar, one shock damage glyph, one Crusher enchantment, On the back bar, like I said, weapon damage infused. We're wearing 2 heavy, 1 medium, 4 light, 5 impen, 2 well fitted, and all tri-stat glyphs. On the jewelry, we got 2 swift, with the spell damage enchants, and 1 infused with reduced spell cost enchantment. This really helps with sustain, more so than the increased Magicka recovery glyph. For our skills, we're running Quick Cloak. We need this to proc Black Rose. It also gives us Major Evasion and a second Major Expedition. We'll get to the other Major Expedition on the back bar. We're running Honor the Dead on the front bar. This is where we have the most spell damage. This is where we have the most crit chance. It just makes sense. Toppling Charge for our Gap Closer stun. Running Radiant Depression, our finisher. Those sweet jabs. We got Crescent Sweep as our ultimate. Still love this thing, still hits hard. And the AoE damage over time is also really nice. On the back bar, I've gone for the Resto Staff ultimate. This is your defensive ultimate. If you ever need it, it can really save your life. Remember to morph Blessing of Protection and Steadfast Ward so that you get the morphs that you want. I'll get to that in a second. Got Extended Ritual, our cleanse, healing over time. This is our first source of Major Expedition. It's also our snare removal and it gives us minor force. You could go Mistform here, but Mistform's still buggy as it's very buggy for me. So sometimes it doesn't go off and I don't get the damage reduction, I don't get the Major Expedition. I just wave my arms in the air like I just don't care and then I die. So I went Race Against Time instead. Channeled Focus, Major Resolve, extra mag recovery. This patch, it also heals us when we're standing in it. We're not standing in it too much, you know. The heal is about 900 in Cyrodiil, I think. But if you do stand in it, yeah, it's alright. Got Solar Barrage. This is a nice little AoE damage skill, which also gives us Empower, increasing the damage of our light and heavy attacks. If you're struggling defensively, you can always swap this out for Living Dark. It's also a very good skill. Last but not least, we got Rapid Regeneration. Pop this before you go on your front bar and you should be in a very good position to just jab, jab, jab. Now, for our passives, all class passives, dual wield passives, Resto Staff passives. Like I said, if you run Life Giver, make sure you morph Blessing of Protection and Steadfast Ward to whichever morph you want. I would recommend getting Healing Ward and Combat Prayer. And we got all our light, medium, heavy armor passives. Vampire passives, the ones we need for stage 3. Pick up Banish the Wicked from Fighters Guild. If you're running Race Against Time, pick up the passives in the Sigil Order skill line, the Undaunted passives, the Assault support passives, all except Magicka 8 are useful on this build. Yeah, your racial passives and medicinal use. For the potion, I'm sure you noticed we're not running Entropy or Inner Light, so we are running the Alliance Spell Drought potions to give us the buffs we need. For our champion points, I have gone with Master at Arms and Biting Aura for our offensive champion point stars. And for the defensive ones, I've gone with Duelist Rebuff since we have access to Major Evasion through our Quick Cloak. And I went Focus Mending to increase our heals a little bit more. Our heals are really strong on this build, since we have a lot of spell damage and decent crit chance on our front bar. You don't have to run Focused Mending. Resilience would also be an option if you feel like you are getting bursted a lot. In the red tree, Juggernaut, Rejuvenation, Ironclad, and Boundless Vitality. These are the ones that I find work the best for me. You can always swap them out however you see fit. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the build. Good luck, have fun, and peace.